Well, as you can see, I finally got my CB radio installed in my Nissan truck, and I decided to show everyone on YouTube just a little tutorial on how to put a CB radio in your vehicle. I've seen other people's tutorials, and I'd hope to make mine just a little bit more comprehensive. Well, the biggest part is just running the wires correctly, and I think the best way to start is with the antenna. Now, on my vehicle, I installed just a cheapy antenna from Walmart, mounts with that magnet base. And what I did with the antenna wire is, I ran it down the door jamb where it won't get squished, and then I ran it into that corner, out under the windshield wiper, and then I just broke a little bit of piece of plastic so I could fit the plug for the antenna through that little grill there. And then what I did is I ran it down through the hole for the hinge on the hood here. I planned on running it through one of those little white caps, but it wasn't big enough. I didn't feel like drilling it, and this I just bent out a little bit and put some tape so it wouldn't get too chafed. I'll have to check on that. Anyway, you run it through there, and then the next step is to run it through your firewall. Now, I have a truck with not many options. I'm going to shut that beeper off. Like I was saying, I have a truck with not many options on it, so I happen to have a few different spots on the firewall where optional accessories would go, but instead they just put a plate over. So this particular plate by the firewall, you just have three 10 millimeter bolts. Take those out, and then you got a nice little hole to stick any of the cords through, and that's how I ran the antenna wire into the truck. And you'll notice there's also a power wire that goes there, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So then the antenna cable goes in through under the kick panel there, and then into the radio back there, and I actually ran it through there so it'd fit a little bit better. Now the next thing is hooking up the CB radio's power. And what I think is the easiest way to do it is using a combination of your fuse box and, depending on the radio you have, a direct wire to the battery. Close the door again. So what I did, this particular Cobra 18 radio uses 3 wires. It uses a black wire for ground, a red wire for the regular accessory power, which you'd hook up to an accessory port on your fuse box, so when you turn the key, that's when the radio turns on. And also had an orange wire for a 12-volt constant to the battery, so it can save different presets and stuff like that. Not all radios have it, but this one particular one does. Most of them just have a black and a red, which you'll just need an accessory port on your fuse box and a ground. And what I suggest is almost every fuse box has a, let's see if I can get the zoom to work here. Well, anyway, let's see. Try and get this to focus. Well, if you can make out what there is there's a mounting screw for that fuse. Oh, there we go. There's a mounting screw for the fuse box, which mounts to a metal part of the dashboard. So for the ground, I just stuck the ground on one of those quick connects that's like a little eyelet, and I stuck the bolt through that, tightened it down, so I got a ground to the dashboard. And then for my actual accessory power, I bought a little pack of what they call fuse taps from Radio Shack. And what the fuse taps allow you to do is you clip a little metal piece onto your fuse, and you put it into the fuse box with the fuse, and that gives you a little power port on the top of your fuse, and then you just hook up your accessory power to that. And that's, you can see the red wire going. Now, like I said, for this model radio, it needs a 12-volt constant for the settings and memory and such. So what I have going is I just ran that wire to that same opening for the antenna and just wire it right into the battery. Easy as that. That's basically all you need to do. It's pretty easy. I mean, the newer vehicles, it's going to be a little tougher, but for most vehicles, I think it'll be pretty simple. You just need to, I really sat down and just kind of planned out how I was going to do this, and it just worked fine. I'd say the the critical thing is just getting your antenna mounted with an unobstructed path. And then lastly, mounting your radio. Now, this particular radio I picked up for $5 at Goodwill, so it did not have the mounting bracket. So what I actually used to mount under my dashboard here was some real strong Velcro strips from Walmart, from their fabric and craft section. And it seems to be holding just fine. I mean, it's not as secure as a metal bracket, but it does the job. It's a little loose. And then for the mic, I did the same exact thing. I was having trouble gluing the bracket, so I put that on some Velcro strips, and you can see them on the dashboard there, and then you just stick that, and it stays. Doesn't seem to come off while driving or anything. So, accessory's already on, so I can switch on the CB radio here. Now I'll turn on the scan function on this radio. See if we can get anything to pick up. Probably won't. I'm not in a very good location. But anyway, you get the idea. That's how you get your CB hooked up. And with this system too, it'll turn on when you turn the key, and then it won't stay on all the time and accidentally drain your battery. So that's just kind of a basic overview tutorial on how to hook up a CB radio.